for my show, I will be reviewing the movie Little. Because black girls rock. I'm not sure why I was clapping. Hi, my name is IDK Revy, and this is my channel, I Don't Know Reviews. Today, I will be reviewing the movie Little. The movie that is a modern retelling of the classic 1980s story that Tom Hanks starred in called Big. If you may be familiar with, it's just a modern retelling. And so today I'll be reviewing that movie that came out in theaters. If you enjoyed this video today, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can follow me at Twitter at IDKRevy, Snapchat at DNRarmadillo93, or Instagram at IDKRevy. Each week I will try to post a video about a certain news issue, a particular black film that I saw, or anything that you as the audience requests me to watch. I'll watch it and I'll review it and I'll let you know. So let's get into this review. So this movie has a lot of good going for it. It was directed by a black female. It was predominantly black cast. Two black female leads. And it was really good with emphasis on black female hair. I like to see that. It wasn't, talking about, confining her hair whenever people try to touch their hair. It was often, their hands were often slapped. It was good to see two black female leads. Marseille and Issa Rae did a really good job with what they had to work with. It was predominantly black. Regina Hall was also in this movie. She's always lovable and charming. And I'll go through each actress soon. And it was directed by a black female lead. So let's get into this black female director. Miss Tina Gordon is a seasoned professional. She was the writer of ATL, Drumline, the show The Peebles, and What Women Want. So she understands the craft of writing. She's been in Hollywood for some time. She's a very smart woman. And this was her first directing job, so kudos to her. Marseille Martin, you may be familiar with her from the show Blackish. She was one of the twins. She was the executive producer on this film, which is very important because there are very few black women that are executive producers. And she, being 14, was probably one of the youngest to do it. So kudos to her, too. The always charming, lovable Miss Regina Hall. You are probably familiar with her from her days on Scary Movie when she was Brenda. That's how I'm familiar with her. She's often been in other black movies. She does a really good job. She's very versatile as an actress. And so I'm happy for her that she's really continuing to dominate as one of the few black females in the industry that with name recognition. And new and upcoming, well, she's not up and coming now, but she still hasn't broke through mainstream as much. I mean, some people know who she is. Some people don't. Miss Issa Rae. Miss Issa Rae is the creator of the show on HBO called Insecure. It's a very quirky show and interesting. It's telling the life of a middle-aged, I would say she's middle-aged, 30's not really middle-aged, of 30-year-old millennial, black millennial, who is just living her life and trying to make the right decisions in her life. So that's what her show is. This movie had so much stuff going for it, which is so disappointing because upon judging the finished product, this movie was terrible. It was terrible because the humor did not land. I did not enjoy the humor at all. The jokes weren't funny. And even when they were trying to be funny, it was just, the jokes just went on way too long. They had these moments where the little girl was hitting on the older man, which is creepy. And it wasn't even funny when even it happened because the adult males never really knew how to respond to a little girl. And it wasn't even creative or clever how they did it. Issa Rae she was just too obnoxious. She felt more like Kevin Hart does in his movies where she's trying too hard to just play the character that they know how to play and they're not playing the character. So they're just playing themselves. The pacing was bad. The movie was 2 hours long, but it felt longer. It felt quick. It felt like it was rushing. And it didn't take advantage of that 2 hour runtime. It was just too long. Too long and quick at the same time. The tone was bad because it never really established what it wanted to be, whether it wanted to be a raunchy adult comedy, but then also a kid-friendly film. It never seemed like it really had a good understanding of kid films today. And they didn't have a fairy tale element to it that would be relatable to children. And then it just wasn't, it was raunchy enough for adults. And it was kind of tone deaf, I would say. So the pacing and the tone were bad. The movie was very, very predictable. Very predictable. And it was preachy at times, when it was preachy about the message of, believing in yourself, working with people getting bullied and other stuff that's like relevant for women nowadays. And it was more of that and less, it wasn't entertaining. That's a great way to say it. It just wasn't really entertaining. It was very predictable. I didn't really care for the high school scenes because it didn't feel like it really had a good understanding of high school. It felt like this is what somebody who went to high school 30 years ago might have done, which I know the movie took place when Regina Hall's character, when she was younger, was about 93. That's not 30 years ago. Even schools were different. Schools wouldn't act the way they are now. So the nerdy kids that were in this movie, they're cool nowadays. And kids that are kind of like brass, like the cheerleader chick, that's the stereotypical cheerleader chick. She's not as cool nowadays in the in modern school. So nothing really, nothing new. It was all the same. It was very cliche. So at the end, my verdict is I give it a 5 out of 10. I would probably scored it lower, but I gave it 5 out of 10 because this is her first Miss Tina Gordon's first film. I give her the pass because it's her first film. I want to see her in more films to be able to really draw a definitive conclusion about how her films are. So she hasn't really been directing films a lot, but other than that, the writing was bad. The editing in the movie was bad. The direction of the film was bad. Like I said, it just had tone issues. The jokes with the little girl and little girl drinking and the little girl with older men, the jokes didn't land. The pacing was bad. The humor, it was all over the place. This movie was all over the place. So in the end, I judged the finished product. Like I said, I believe that it's got a lot good going for it, and I hope that we have more movies like this in the future, where positive black female representation in Hollywood. But this movie ain't it. So my suggestion, how I always end, is you go see the movie for yourself. You debate with me in the comment section or on Twitter or on Snapchat or wherever you feel like communicating with me. If you want to write me a letter, I guess you can write me a letter. No one does that nowadays. But you go judge the finished product. That's what I always do. I don't look at trailers. I don't look at the hype. I judge the finished product, and I'm judging the finished product here. This movie was not good from a finished product standpoint. I am happy for everything it's got going for it, but this movie was not good. So go out and see the movie. Go out and support the black women that are in this movie. But it's at the end of the day, it's your own verdict. So that's my take on the movie Little. Hope you go see it and support. Bye.